Okay, this is just going to be a quick, simple little video on scaling a design in Inkscape. I have people ask, how to scale one. It's a pretty simple operation, but, if you're new starting out, you may not know, so this will just be a quick video on just that subject. Okay, I've got this design I just opened up. I select the design with the selection tool. Come over here. When you open up an Inkscape, you're going to be in pixels. That's just its default. Now, I'm not going to use pixels for cutting. I'm going to either I always use inches, but you might be using millimeters or centimeter. For me, it's always inches. Pixels would be useful if you're making like a company logo for Facebook business page. It has to be a certain pixel size to fit properly. So there are some situations you might use that, but for the purpose of cutting, I'm always in inches. So I'm going to select inches. And as you can see, my design is 30 inches high and 24.94 inches wide. Now I want to change that. Say I've got a customer, he only wants this at 24 inches high to fit a space on his wall. The first thing I'm going to do when I'm scaling artwork is I'm going to come up here to this icon. This is the lock icon. When you lock this, it's going to keep the height and width symmetrical so your design doesn't skew when you're entering the coordinates here, or your measurements, sorry. So I'm going to select 30 inches. The customer wanted it 24 inches high. I'm going to hit enter, and it's scaled my design down to 24 inches high, 19.9 inches wide. It kept it symmetrical. Now at this point, I can save the design and send it to the cutter. Good to go. So that's basically all there is to scaling a design. You're going to lock your ratio. Here you're going to enter your known width or height, and it's going to scale the design for you. You save it, you're good. Now if this were unlocked, just for example, and I change that back to 30 inches just to show you what it does, now as you can see, it changed the height but not the width, so my design's skewed and it's not going to look quite right. Hit Control Z. You can also scale your designs with these arrows. This will size it, but you have to keep in mind, if the ratio is locked, when you grab these diagonal corner arrows, it will adjust the height and width symmetrically. This might be useful if you're wanting to make the design a little smaller just to fit in a scrap piece, but you don't have an exact height or width you're worried about hitting. You can just scale it up or down quickly that way. Now, even with the ratio locked, if you hit your side arrows, it will change your width, but it'll skew it. And your up and down arrows will change the height, but skew your design. I'm going to hit Control Z and go back a few steps. So, if you're scaling a design, you're just typically, for selling artwork, you're going to want to use your dimensions here, keep your ratio locked, have your units set, and that's about all you need. Another thing to note is if I unlock this, when you're using your arrows, if you hold the Control key, that will lock your ratio too. You see, that's keeping my ratio locked. It doesn't matter which way I move my cursor here. It keeps the height and width symmetrical, and it also works on the side arrows and the top arrows. It keeps it symmetrical because I'm holding that Control key. But if I let off the Control key, once again, it's skewing my design there. So those are just a couple little, pointers or just notes on using your arrows there to scale a design. You can do it, but if you're wanting to be exact, you're going to want to use your units of measure up here. You're going to want your ratio locked, and that's all there is to it. I want it 15 inches wide. Good to go. I come in the next time, I want it 30 inches wide. As long as that ratio is locked, it's going to adjust it for me. It's good. Now when I'm done, I always go to File, Document Properties. It's going to open this selection here. I'm going to come down on the Page tab, down to resize page to content. Click that and it'll open this, and I'm going to resize the page to the drawing or selection. And that's going to adjust your document to your new path size. And then at that point I would hit File, Save As, save it as a DXF, SVG, whatever it is you're using on your cutter, and you're good to go. So that pretty much covers scaling a design. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I hope that helps some people out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.